Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. And I want to say Shalom to Akmanakwath out there pursuing this truth diligently. Coming at you real quick with a little bit of a shorter lesson. I just wanted to touch on, a little bit of what we talked about yesterday. Now, yesterday's lesson was titled "White Jesus is a false doctrine." All right, and here's proof. And in that, I mentioned, briefly, and I went into it briefly because I didn't want to, confuse, the new brothers or sisters, because there's already a lot in the lesson. I didn't want to, deviate off the topic too much. But being an Israelite isn't defined by how you look. All right, or how you talk. All right, being an Israelite's a much deeper thing, and it's even deeper than actually being from the seed line of Israel, if you really want to get down to it. All right, because there's scriptures that talk about not all Israel being of Israel. Okay, and in the same matter of yesterday, I don't want to deviate too much. We're not going to really go into that too much either. But maybe that can be another follow-up that I can do, just a little little quick cut. All right. And, basically just, there's spiritual tares, man. There's people that they're Israelites, all right, by blood, but spiritually they're separated from Yahweh Shem Shai. Okay, and we're not going to touch on that too much because this is dealing with, just really color. Okay, because yesterday we talked about, the Lord's skin color, and we mentioned, throughout it that, the skin color of people, all right, is not important. Now, the skin color of the Lord is important, for the fact that, there's these false doctrines going out that he's a white man, and that is not the case. Okay, that is not the case. So yes, that is significant. All right, and it's significant to know how, ancestrally you would be and would look. But the case is that a lot of us today don't happen to look like what we would look like. I mentioned in that, the tribes, even back then, we have Issachar, that the thing that I mentioned yesterday, call all Yahweh Shem Shai for letting me remember it, is that, we have Issachar, these days that look damn near like white people, man, but they're still considered, they call them white Mexicans. Okay, now there was no white Issacharites like that, there are now, all right, because we've been amongst the nations, but back when we had our melanin correct, that's we varied in shades of brown, but ain't no Israelite was ever leprous like that. Okay, that's something that came from the nations, being among the nations, and having sexual relations, all right, with those nations. Okay, with that Bill Clinton, right? So having sexual relationships with those women, right? We did have sexual relationships with those women, all right? Those heathen women, we absolutely did, all right? We had sexual relationships with those heathen women, all right? We popped them. We had little Israelite babies that came out looking like, first they came out looking like burnt marshmallows, then a slightly toasted marshmallow, then just a marshmallow in general, all right? So you come in all shapes, sizes. Jake's known for being very tall, but you look at Kevin Hart, and he could be an Edomite for all I know, so I'll take that back, because I wouldn't be surprised if Kevin Hart's an Edomite. Some people like him. Something's weird about that dude, but he could be a fucked up Jake too, all right? I won't take that from him, all right? But you just never know, man. But being an Israelite ultimately is not determined, all right, by color, all right? Being an Israelite is determined by your lineage. All right, so we're going to prove that. We're going to go and get Numbers 1 and 16 through 18. Okay, and let me get it, Slaki. I'm not prepared. All right, so Numbers 1 and 16. Let me go and get it. Numbers 1 and 16. So it says, Numbers 1 and 16, and we're going to go down through 18. It says, these were the renown of the congregation. Slakia, that's Satan. These were the renown of the congregation, princes of the tribes of their fathers, heads of thousands in Israel. I got to take a little bit of time to extra read because, when the car is moving, you can't, the page is jumping up and down. It says, and Moses and Aaron took these men which are expressed by their names, and they assembled all the congregation together. Now listen, and they assembled, this is verse 18, and they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees. They declared their pedigrees after their families, how? by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names from 20 years old and upward, by their polls. Okay? There you go. Now, because I believe it was, Manasseh and Ephraim. All right, those tribes. All right, those well, technically, those the men, Ephraim and Manasseh. They were brought forth through. I believe it was a Hamite woman. I could be incorrect. I believe it was Hamite. I don't have the stuff on me right now to do it. But let's go and find out real quick. Let's go and see. Asenath, yeah, so she was an Egyptian priest of Potipharah. Yeah, so Ephraim and Manasseh, the mother of Ephraim and Manasseh. Okay, I want to make sure I'm getting my stuff right. So they came through a heathen woman. But yet, Ephraim and Manasseh are both in the 12 tribes of Israel. See how that works? It's about the father. It's about the father, because they go back to through that lineage, man, that seed line, all right, of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It says, and they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names from 20 years old and upward, by their polls. Now, let's go and look up what a pedigree is. That's going to say dog food, but we're looking for the definition. It says the record of descent of an animal showing it to be a purebred, or, definition 2, and this one's for us, the recorded ancestry, especially upper class ancestry, and that's what we are, upper class ancestry, royal lineage, all right, of a person or family. Now, what is ancestry? It goes back to who your ancestors are, and ultimately it goes back to race. Whether you want to believe it or not, it goes back to race. So again, it says, and they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers. Notice that it did not say mothers; it said father. And if you go through the generations, these are the generations of like Adam, the generation. If you go through any of the generations that are listed within the Bible, all right, even going back into the generations of Yahushai, all right, that ultimately go back to Jacob, you'll see it's and so begat so-and-so, and so begat so-and-so, and the so-and-so that has begat, all right, is a father. This father begat this son. This son begat this son. This son begat this son. You're not going to see a woman begatting anybody, all right, because it's through the seed line of the father, okay? So ultimately, it doesn't matter what color you are, because you might have had take me, for example. I'm an example for myself, is that my mom is an Edomite, more than likely, okay? And my dad, he goes back to the seed line of Israel, going back. Now we theoretically would either go back to a so-called Mexican guy or a so-called Irish guy, which either of those guys could work, because we know that the original Irish were Jake, all right, and we know that Issachar, Mexicans, all right, are Issacharites, all right, but I believe, like I've mentioned many times before, we actually go back to the seed line of Judah, the so-called Negroes. But again, going back through our family line, you can't go back that far. But how are we going to know? A lot of us don't know who our fathers are. What if there was a white guy at some point? How are you going to know? Well, how are you going to know you're an Israelite? Well, do you understand this truth? Are you watching diligently? Are you praying to Yahweh Shem Yahushai? Do you have an adverse reaction to the name Yahweh Shem Yahushai? If you do, you might not be a Jake. Either that, or you're a wicked Jake. All right. If you're a man, are you teaching? Can you teach? All right, because you're not going to be teaching if you're an Edomite, all right, or any heathen for that matter. Okay, the Lord doesn't reveal His secrets unto Edomites like that. Okay, you're not going to get this knowledge, this truth, this understanding if you're not an Israelite. Okay, so those are some of the ways that you know, man. Those are some of the ways that you know, because a lot of us don't have, methods to go back to throughout our lineage, and that ancestry and all that shit, DNA. 23andMe, all that shit, that's a bunch of bullshit that's just used to get your fucking Jake DNA. Don't use that shit, man. It's been said by the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, not that I'm affiliated with them or anything like that, all right, because there's new rules around giving honors and stuff like that. So I want to, they want to be separate from what they would call the affiliate camps, okay? But You know, again, I learned from those brothers and apostles and elders. So, and they're the ones telling you, and I'm gonna listen to what they have to say, because they're the ones teaching the truth. That don't do that shit, man. Don't go and fucking give your DNA away like that, man. And there was this heathen at my job, as a matter of fact, that actually said some smart shit. He said that, you know, when you do shit like that, they could theoretically make think about it. You're on a plane. This is what he told me. You're on a plane. They know all of the genomes and DNA and all these different strains, and I don't know. You said something wrong. You stupid. Well, I'm not a fucking biologist, all right? So, or whatever we would do for that. Some medical professional. So I don't know what the fuck's in a DNA strand. But they can find out all the things that are in that, and then they can make a chemical or a poison that only motherfucking targets you. Only targets you. And you might think, well, what are you use of being targeted? Well, guess what? You have Jake DNA. They could be using that shit to find out, you know, how to make shit that only affects Jake, put it in the water and the other things, and it won't even affect the other nations. Because Jake has certain genomes and all this different shit probably, you know? Not shit, but, you know, different things that make up their genetics, okay? And you don't think they're already doing that? Psh, woo, man, if you don't think they're already doing that, man, you where the hell have you been? Because I bet they're already doing that shit. They're probably putting stuff in water and soaps and everything that only affects Jake. Jake over here, man, I don't feel so well. Their Edomite friend, I feel fine. I don't know what you're talking about. Jamal, you're a fucking weirdo, buddy. You know, shit like that. You don't think they're already doing that? And if it hasn't rolled out in full effect, you know damn well they're planning that shit. Because they don't want it to target them. You know, making super bugs and super V to the I to the R to the U to the S's. All right? That only target Jake. Hey, man, watch out there. So you go back through your father. It's not about your mom. You could have a Hamite mother. You're still a Jake. You could have a Ishmaelite mother. You're still a Jake. You could have an Edomite mother. You're still a Jake. Okay. You could have a Ammonite or a Moabite mother, and you're still a Jake. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Still a Jake. Still a Jake. Let's get Jeremiah 12:9. I spelled that wrong. 12 and verse 9. It says, come on now. Oh, it didn't correct. 1 minute. Wasn't it correct? Come on, man. It's Jeremiah 12:9. It says, mine heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. A speckled bird is many different colors. I've shown pictures of a speckled bird many a time. Look it up. Okay, go and look up a speckled bird. What is a speckled bird? Many different colors. So it's not just based off of just, you know, oh, I'm only dealing with black people. No. That's that simple-minded bug-out shit. That's that all-black Israel bullshit, man. And that's exactly what it is. It's bullshit. Oh, no, they ain't, no, you know, they ain't Israelites. Those black people ain't Israelites. No, black, not Slovakia. Those Mexican people ain't Israelites. Those Native Americans ain't Israel. So after all that's happened to the natives, the Gadites, and the Issacharites, the Mexicans, so-called Mexicans, the Issacharites, they're not Jakes. They're not Jakes. They had Issachar playing soccer to death. That's how that whole soccer shit originated with the Aztecs. You know, they had all sorts of crazy evil shit happen, man. They had the Trail of Tears, which, mind you, you were on as well, Jake. All right, there were black people there too, so-called. Okay. So, and also y'all mingled in, only black. So what happens if, you can only get with a black woman? Another thing is, so are Hamites, are they Jake now all of a sudden? Because they're black, right? They're black, so that must mean something special. You go back to the sea line of Africa, right? A lot of you motherfuckers, you all black Israelite, you're dumb. All right, you're just dumb, you're stupid. And it shows you don't have an understanding of the scriptures, man, because you're just stupid, you're just dumb. Jeremiah 12:9, it says, and I'm not even, no, you mad because you white. Cool, whatever you want to say. You know, don't go ahead and include me. Put me aside. All right, cool. I'm not an Israelite. Put me aside, right? But you're gonna say the Mexicans and so-called Mexicans and so-called Native Americans aren't? That's just stupid. See, you're still stupid. You can say it's just me because of my skin color, but you're still stupid. Me aside. Okay, cool. I'm an Edomite, right? Oh, you got me. Oh, cool. It still doesn't change the fact that you don't think the so-called Mexicans and Native Americans are Israelites. That's just fucking dumb. If you don't think they're Jake, if you're saying they're not, you're just dumb. Me aside, skin color aside, right? Because I can't speak, right? Because I'm white. Put me aside, and still, it would still stand that y'all some dumb motherfuckers, man. Jeremiah 12:9. Mine heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds round about are against her. Come ye, assemble all the beasts of the field, come to devour. There you go. But everything's this fucking color, man. It's that blickety blick blick black spirit on it. I'm black and I'm black and I'm black, y'all. And I'm black, y'all. Y'all motherfuckers will be quick to hang out with a fucking foo-foo eating, fucking cow dung eating, living in shit mud hut ass Hamite before you would allow a Native American or a Mexican to come around you, so-called. You know how fucking retarded that is? Here it is, you're gonna reject the nation of Israel for a fucking heathen because of the skin color. Oh yeah, he's a Jake, man. Look at him. Look at Ntumbe. Look at Ntumbe, man. He's a Jake. Look at him. I do not like any of you motherfuckers. Yeah, he's one of us. See, he's just a little confused as all. Fuck you, black son of a bitches. Nah, he's one of us. No, he ain't. No, he ain't. Tumba Roomba is a Hamite, man, and you're trying to hang around him, and that's why you don't, I do not like when you just fucking dumb. All right? And some of the West Africans, most of them are Israelites, but most of the West Africans, those East Africans and South Africans and all them, and you got a mix of Edomites and just ham over there. So 1 Samuel 16 and 7. I got to get closing out here in a minute. But I'm already on the workplace area, so I should be good. 1 Sam 16 and 7. But the Lord said, all right, this is coming from the Lord, all right, showing you about appearance. Verse 7, but the Lord said unto Samuel, look not on his countenance or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord seeth not as man seeth, for man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart. And this can be used for many things but just color, okay? And that shows that the Lord's looking on the heart. He doesn't care about the color. He doesn't care how you act, he does care how you act, but if you're acting like you're a good person, but you're really a piece of shit, right? The Lord doesn't look at those things. See, we might see someone, they look like they're a good, upstanding person, but secretly inside their house, they're a fucking piece of shit, all right? Snorting coke off of hookers' asses and shit, all right? We wouldn't even know, all right? But we as men, we can see it. That's all we can see. We can't really see the heart of men unless it's through the blessing of Yahweh Shem Shai, all right? Because he will reveal those people to us from time to time, but we can't do it ourselves. But the Lord knows. He inherently knows. All right, so he's not going to throw you aside because of you're white or you're not exactly brown. All right, he knows he knows what seed line you go back to, man. He knows that you go back to the seed line of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All right. So let's get Deuteronomy 4 and 27. And we're going to go ahead and close out after this. So verse 27. And I'm going to leave you on this as a thinking point. All right. We're going to close out on a thinking point for you, right? Deuteronomy 32. All right, or 32. Deuteronomy 32 on the mind. Deuteronomy 4 and 27. It says, and the Lord shall scatter you among the nations, and ye shall be left few in number among the heathen, whither the Lord shall lead you. This is a thinking point for you for the rest of the day. You Israelites, you bugged out ass Israelites, and you all black Israelites, right? The Lord shall scatter you among the nations. Jake loves to get down, man, and have sex with a bunch of different women, right? You're going to think we were scattered among all these different nations and we never got down with an Asian, we never got down with an Arab, we never got down with a white woman. You're going to think that? If we were scattered amongst all these nations, we're going to be getting with those women in two and doing the 1-2-1-2, man. Like rabbits. So guess what? Those children, they're going to start taking on characteristics, worshiping idols because they're in those lands. They're going to start, keeping the holidays and the heathen customs because they're in those lands, and they're going to look like them. So they're going to walk, talk, and even look like an Edomite or a Ishmaelite or a Moabite or an Ammonite. All right, and you can tell sometimes through the sauce, because Jake has a special sauce, the salt of the earth, but sometimes you can't tell, man. But the Lord knows who his people are. So think about that. You're going to be scattered among all these nations. When you get down with another woman, a lot of time the kids take on some of their traits. All right, their hair gets a little less curly. Their skin gets a little lighter, and soon you have someone with straight hair and white skin, and they're still an Israelite. Because being an Israelite is determined by your lineage, not your color. With that, we're going to go ahead and close out. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakadash. I want to say shalom to you brothers and sisters out there. Keep enduring, keep the faith. We're almost out of here. Until next one, Lord willing, shalom.